and welcome to OVW No Holds Barred, the show taking a look at all things Ohio Valley Wrestling. On today's show, we're joined by a rising star whose story is a testament to the power of believing in yourself. From near-fatal car crash in childhood to stepping into the ring at just 15 years old, battling the odds and carving her identity in wrestling, she's now pushing to achieve her dreams in OVW. Please welcome Teagan Thorne. Tegan, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
It's really cool to speak to you. I thought a great place to start, because you have a fascinating story. Reading about it was absolutely amazing. But first, just to begin, who is Teagan Thorne? How would you describe yourself?
So, Tegan Thorne, I would describe myself as a mix of probably Poison Ivy and Frankenstein in a sense. I have my story, basically was pronounced deceased, brought back. And with that, I've kind of took that and ran with it and called myself to reanimate her. So I'm trying to wreak havoc and take over the women's division, hopefully, and make my mark.
I love that. Now, you said your story is pronounced deceased, came back. That would be cool if it was fictional. That actually happened, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was a car accident when you were 11. So for people who don't know that story, could you just tell us a little bit about what happened?
Yeah, so long to kind of summarize it all and everything. When I was 11, almost 12, we were hit by a drunk driver. And at the scene, I was pronounced deceased before they flew me. When they brought me back, they flew me to a hospital. And I ended up being in a coma for about 2.5 weeks because of it. Um, During that time period alone, had to kind of relearn how to talk, walk, and everything. I kind of re-aged, um, is according to my dad. And after that, I mean, it was the milestones that I had to deal with the obstacles of learning how to face the world again, how to face everything again and be normal, because I was up here and then had the wreck happen and it brought me back down to here. And I was right here when it was over. So I had to come back mentally and physically and everything.
That's so difficult to even imagine having to do. Was Obviously, it sounds overwhelming. Did it even hit you in the moment? Can you remember what was going through your head when this actually happened? Maybe like when you first sort of regained consciousness almost. Do you remember how it hit you?
I remember like I was shocked because like in the moment, obviously I was knocked out. I didn't even know the wreck had happened. I woke up and I woke it up previously, but it was when I was doing that re-aging from where I'd regressed. And when I woke up for the first time fully conscious and aware, my dad told me what had happened and I was thankful to be alive, but I was shocked because it's just not even something you can imagine happening to yourself. And
Mm.
then to be told that you had this happen and then you came back and then now they're trying to figure out what the next step is. I mean, my head was in so many different places, but um it was very emotional. Like I didn't show emotion when it first happened, but I know like mentally up here I was a wreck because I didn't even know what to think about it. But I mean yeah, at the end of it, I was thankful that I had came back and that I was alive and everything, but it was shock.
I guess. Sorry. In a moment like that, I'm thinking it's a triumph just to get back to normal. But you're now living a bigger life than most people in the world, right? Like, at what point did
Yeah.
that become feasible? What point did that become the goal, right? When did that take over?
So I oddly, funnily enough, before like the wreck and everything, I had kind of just started to get into wrestling. Like watching it growing up because my dad did it nearby where I live, which is where I ended up finding my place at first. But um when he was doing it, I was like too busy reading my middle school girl books. I was not paying attention. I didn't want nothing to do with it. But then shortly before the wreck, like a year or two before, I kind of started to get into it and saw people I thought were cool and that I was like, "Oh, I like how they look. I'm going to cheer for them." Um, and so then the wreck happened. I got told, I'd probably never be able to do sports again. Eventually I was able to do sports after like 3 years, and when I brought up the idea of wrestling, my dad shot it down immediately and was like, "No, no, no, we're not chancing your head. We're not doing anything." We had to go to the doctor, and doctors, aren't. big fans of it. So they were like, I don't know about all that. But when it came to it and we point blank asked them, like, is my head going to be okay? Though they're like, in theory, yes, because the spot that you hit is now probably rock solid because it healed over and everything. So
Mhm.
you're probably even better now than you were before. So I kind of used that and pushed my dad into getting me into it. And then 15 years old, I started, and here I am.
And knowing Al Snow as a trainer and as a man, I mean, his expectations of everybody is always high, right? So, you've gone into obviously the emotional context, which I can't even relate to because obviously it's personal to yourself. But physically, I'm really intrigued about how you've managed to adapt to the wrestling environment. Has it set you back? Has it driven you further? Because everybody knows the physical demands of training to be a wrestler, and it's not like any other sport whatsoever. So, you know, for a normal person, it's tough. And that's not to say that you're not normal, but for someone who's been through something like you have, like, I can imagine that's almost twice the challenge. So tell us a little bit about the physical demand and how you've adapted and how you've pushed yourself to get to where you are now.
Yeah, it was a struggle when I first started because obviously I had the physical challenges or the mental challenges of worrying about my head, but physically I had a lot to worry about too because at first I was worrying about if I was going to land wrong, if I was going to do this wrong. I had to overcome the mental part before the physical, and then the physical part once I kind of got comfortable and got full head on into it and everything because at first I was a little skittish about it. Like, I was a little uncertain. Once I kind of fully got into it and nosedived in, I picked it up relatively quickly, I would think. But I mean, as time has went on, I feel like it's helped me improve leaps and bounds, like physically, athletically, in all capacities. I mean, I started going to the gym and everything to help me with it too. And I feel like it's helped me just health wise a lot better.
And I remember you mentioning just a little bit before about how your dad was sort of he wasn't sure about whether he wanted you to do it, but your dad was also a wrestler, right? So
Correct, yeah. He, wrestles at a show nearby where we live, but, uh, it's kind of he does that. That's about it.
no, that's all good. I was just thinking, like, did he pass down your love of wrestling? Do you think? Do you think that's where it came from, or do you think you've discovered it independently?
I think it definitely kinda got passed down a little bit
Right.
because it took some time for me to get into it, but when I did, I mean, I can't even describe it to somebody who doesn't have the feeling, you know?
Mm.
It's something that's just I grew up into, and then I embraced fully once I started, and now there's, people coming in that I see that I try and talk to that, well, it's fine, like, they didn't grow up with it or they didn't, build that love immediately for it. They had to, learn it as they went and learn to love it as they went, and it's so hard to describe it, which you wouldn't even think it would be, but it is. And so I definitely think it got passed down from generation.
For
I
sure.
like how you've used your story and incident into your gimmick because I remember you saying sort of you've gone with a living dead girl sort of kind of thing, and it's um, so what is it you're trying to portray in terms of your character, and how do you feel that's going to come across to the audience on the OVW trajectory, if you like, and how do you propose on using your story to inspire your character further?
So the story obviously stems from my journey that happened and everything, and I've always loved horror movies and stuff like that. So that's always been my thing, anyways. But the idea that I'm trying to portray at the end of the day, even pushing away all the dark makeup and the dark colors and everything, and basically looking goth, as people would call it, or anything like that, it's showing that showing that somebody can get to that no matter how different they are, no matter how many trials, tribulations they've been through, That's the part I really want people to connect with. Yes, it's this living dead girl character, but it's a girl who fought for her life, and now she's there, and I just hope in a way it displays in the ring that it's motivational because every time I go out there is, another achievement on life that I've gotten to do.
I mean, we're all very familiar with The Undertaker. I mean, he's obviously the first one that might come to everyone's mind. And I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with like Gangrel and there's been many other wrestlers over the years. Like, even on the UK scene over here, you have people, like you say, portray to like a goth audience or that steampunk, etc. And to be fair, it's quite a niche and it's difficult to get over at times. And and the character can either be limited or you could take it where you want, like the Undertaker did. I mean, is there anybody in specifically, like, sorry if I've already sort of mentioned his name, but is there any sort of people who have portrayed that sort of character or stuff that you've taken inspiration or influence from?
Oh yes. I've taken inspiration. A lot of the inspiration I got came from like I watched a bunch of older WWE, ECW stuff. I saw some Gangrel in the Brood, obviously. Drew some inspo from that. I drew inspo from oh, I can't remember his name off the top of my head now, which is ironic because part of my name came from him, but he was the vampire in ECW.
Oh, Kevin Thorne, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I got some inspiration from him and Ariel, and then Tatum Paxley, one of the newer ones that are on NXT. She's one I've kind of drew inspo from, especially more so for the look and everything. But it just because they all have their own things that they do, but they all have that core like aesthetic to them, which is my favorite part of it. Because I feel like as a wrestler, not only do you have to have the physical part of it, but you got to have like a look that stands out. And while there is obviously several of them that go on through the years and that are happening at this time, I feel like the one I have is also unique just because of the story that comes with it, you know?
I was just thinking that actually. I was thinking about how, you've got that side of the character, but as well, you're so well positioned to inspire people, right? Like you are,
Mhm.
because of the story, just in this really unique space instantly almost. And I think OVW is a really good place to sort of bring that out in the best way possible. So who've been your biggest sort of supporters or maybe the biggest mentor at OVW so far?
I would definitely say so far my biggest supporters have probably been we have one of the producers, JMO, who
Mhm.
I've known since I was a little kid. He's known me since I was little, since I started wrestling, even before I started wrestling. He's always been a big supporter and he was a big help for me whenever I started my journey getting into OVW. We also have Amazing Maria, who's one of the producers as well, who helps with the women, and she's been a big supporter as well. Her and JMO both have always listened to my ideas, always listened to anything I bring to them, like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And I mean, even outside of them, you have the support of everybody else that works there. It's such a positive environment. I can't say enough good things about. Everybody's always giving ideas or telling you like, yeah, this is good, or hey, try doing it this way, you know. But the biggest two definitely are JMO and Maria because I'm always in their ears.
Right.
I might annoy them sometimes, but I'm always there.
Well, JMO's on the show soon. We can ask about that. And if anybody listening as well, if you have any questions for JMO, feel free to shoot us over those questions, and we can definitely ask those. But yeah, no, it's cool to hear about. And obviously, OVW, like you say, is a really good creative environment for you to actually build and grow the character. What's been your favorite moment at OVW so far, if there is a standout one?
Honestly, I think my favorite so far probably would be when I had two matches with lovely Miss Larkin.
Right.
And I ended up winning the match when basically nobody thought I was gonna win, you know? And just having that moment and that kind of everybody was kind of surprised, but she's entertaining. She's so entertaining. I mean, there you can't put it in a box. There's no box to put it in that could fit it. But she is so entertaining and she brings such a good energy anytime at the show when you're in the ring or anything like that. Even if you're at odds with her, I feel like that was definitely a shining moment for me.
And what is currently happening with yourself in terms of a storyline or angle in the OVW environment at the moment? Like, what's going down?
So currently, I'm kind of currently I'm kind of fully embracing the dark side, embracing the living dead girl stuff. I've started just fully head on leaning into it. And so I don't think I've really gotten a chance to fully showcase it yet. But I mean, last week I went out there and told Kilikai exactly what I thought, exactly what all the girls were thinking in the locker room, you know? And I think that's just the start. That's just the start of where it's going to go. You know, I feel like I have a really promising reach that I'm going to reach with it.
It sounds like you're just waiting for the inspirational stuff then right now. Like you're going the other
I'm
way.
just waiting for the moment, waiting for the opportunities, basically.
Cool. Have you thought about long-term goal? I'm guessing WWE, that's the easy answer, but have you thought about where what that moment would look like walking into an arena hearing your music? Do you know what you want that to look like? Can you visualize it, or is it still just one day at a time right now, just building up?
It's something, yeah, that's the big goal, you know, but right now I'm taking it one day at a time. I mean, a shorter term goal I have eventually is to become OVW Women's Champion, just because of the history and the lineage with it, and to have the ability to put that on my resume and to be able to say that I had history there in that sense, you know? But definitely I'm taking it one day at a time. That's the big goal that I'm trying to get right now, is that title.
Right.
And then after that, we're going to keep going day by day till we get that big goal one day.
Amazing.
What can you tell us about the people who are standing in your way? What's the competition like on the female side of the roster? Like, who would you say, you know, maybe a couple of the ones that are going to cause a problem for yourself, and you know, you got to get past them before you get to the gold?
So I would definitely say right now the biggest like ones in my path that I'm seeing is lovely Miss Larkin and Sophia Rose, who's been up there and she's still up there. She's close to it, close to getting it again, I would think. And she's trying to chase for it as well. You've got lovely Miss Larkin, who, while I don't know if it's always on her mind, I'm sure that's something that she's chasing as well. And she's a prominent woman in the division. You've also got Carter Kaufman coming in with a little bit of a streak going. And you've got Noelle and you've got Janie, who's starting to wrestle us girls more and more. Also, Kilikai is probably a big obstacle that I'm going to have to overcome, you know, because she's become a very prominent woman in the division in a very short amount of time. So once I get through all them, hopefully I can get up there.
That's not too
But
easy.
that's a pretty stacked list I'm going to have to go through, you know?
As you were
Thank
listing them
you,
up, I was thinking, oh, this is dangerous. This could take a while.
I need to keep you busy then, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to keep me busy for a little while.
You know, as you was going through that list, then I was realizing that it's really character driven. Big characters, and that seems to be a recurring theme. Everybody's got a huge personality as well as obviously the in-ring skills. So that can't be a coincidence, right? Do you think that's what OVW is building around right now, is strong characters?
I think very much so. Strong characters, very strong characters are a big part of it, because you can have, I mean, the wrestler of the year come in, day out. But if you have them characters, you're going to have so many moments, you know, with each little person. You're going to have so many moments that they're going to have with the audience, whether it's one person or everybody.
Right.
You know, so I feel like the characters are a very strong focal point for OVW, and especially for the women's division. I mean, you have such strong and diverse characters as well. I said something about it this morning. I think I posted a picture where it showed all of us. But if you looked at it, I was like, this looks like some kind of female breakfast club going on. It's so diverse and there's so many different things going on, you know?
Right. Yeah,
But
that
I
was
feel
me,
like that's
Kian.
definitely our strongest point.
Yeah, and that's amazing as well, because me and Kian talk about stuff like this. Like, in-ring skill is absolutely amazing. You need it; it's essential. But the storytelling side of things is where things go from. For me, they go from like good to unbelievable, from great to, you know, just the best the moments that live with you forever. So I think, and when we were speaking to Al Snow as well, he was really big on that, and I think it trickles into everybody in OVW from what I gather, that you know, that character side of it is absolutely essential. So it's cool to see, and like I say, I think you're so uniquely placed because of not just your experiences, but the character that you're putting in as well as everything else. Like, you've got something really unique, and it's really cool to see.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, in this is a tricky question, I guess, but I guess if fans watching this were to take away one thing from your story, what would you want that to be?
The biggest thing, I mean, the biggest thing I want them to take away is a connection they can have with themselves, you know? The
Mm,
connection of, if I can do it after literally dying, coming back, being told no to everything, if I can do it, they should be able to do it, you know? Like, it's a motivational story that I feel like they can connect with, and I want them to connect with and realize we can literally do anything we want in this world, you know? You just gotta put your mind and your time into it.
for
And
sure.
if you want it bad enough, you can make it work out.
Do you know, that's a really sort of nice note to the next question I was going to ask. Like, in terms of you as a performer, as a person, obviously we've learned a bit more about your background, but what does week to week life look like for you regarding training, health, TV, obviously being a full-time active member of the roster, normal life? Like, what's your schedule like?
So my schedule is pretty much always packed. I mean, I'm every Tuesday and Saturday, basically, I'm training I'm training or going to classes or training at my home promotion I started at. I am going to the gym on other days when I'm not busy. I'm doing school. I'm working my other job that I do for a living, you know, because you got to make your money to get in there somehow, you know, you got to fund the gas. And then you have wrestling on top of it every Thursday. You have all the other shows they do, the house shows. It's it's stacked. I basically run myself to death every week, but I manage to balance it enough to where it all works out.
On that note, I was speaking to Kian just before we started this interview, and we were talking about how you've got to love it. Like, as in every wrestler to do this stuff. I mean, the hours that you put in on top of everything else, and like that, you need to have the mindset of this is just the life I have to live. Right? Is that true of everybody? Would you say, or is that something?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you gotta have some kind of love for it, or else there's no way you'd be able to handle the schedule, you know, especially if you're chasing it as hard as everybody is.
Yeah.
Like, it's unreal.
I bet. I bet. Well, listen, this has been absolutely fascinating. It's been really cool to speak to you. Really do appreciate your time as well. I guess just to wrap up, I know we've sort of glossed over this, but I think as a good end question, it's healthy to ask this. So, if you could finish this sentence for me, in 5 years' time, Tegan Thorne will be
One of the top stars in OVW and in all of wrestling.
amazing. What a way to end it, right? Like, that works perfectly. So, hey, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it'd be great to do
Me,
it.
Tegan, all the best.
Yeah, it'd be good to do a part 2 as well. And then for everybody listening as well, we really appreciate you checking out the show. So please do like, subscribe, leave a kind review wherever you've listened to it. And we'll be back every 2 weeks with a new one. But yeah, thanks very much for checking out OVW, No Holds Barred. And we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. See you soon.